Hey guys, StarCraft here, and I got with me Ingrid again, and another co-worker friend of mine, Shane.
No.
Yep. We're about to go in to see Captain Marvel. I'm hearing so much bad about it, but I'm also hearing some friends I trust saying good things about it. So, what are you expecting, Ingrid?
Honestly, I feel like the worst I'm expecting is that it's bad by the standards of the MCU, which is still pretty damn good, because I liked the first Thor movie even when a lot of people didn't, and that was like, Thor The Dark came along, that one was pretty bad, so I'm going into it with an open mind.
All right. Shane, what are you expecting?
Yeah, I'd say open minds too. I mean, mainly I just mostly just like action movies and whatnot, and this just seemed interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't really read comics, so I don't really
know what to
anything
expect
about her, but yeah,
I got
expect
you.
it'll be good overall.
Yep. In my case, well, I'm kind of expecting it just to be I'm right up and at the worst and at the best, and a travesty at the worst. Who knows? So, we'll see you after the movies. Take care. Hey guys, we're out of the movie, and not the worst. Would you say that at all? Not the worst?
Yeah, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely had its problems. I feel like one of the strongest parts of the movie was just the interaction between them, the chemistry between the main cast. That was really good.
Oh, agreed.
And I really liked her. I really liked Carol's snark throughout the whole thing. That was just definitely points where I was genuinely laughing and feeling for things.
Right. And you, Shane, what would you say?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it was good. Yeah, a few problems with things not being explained and what. But yeah, I also like the character interactions.
Yep, I agree as well. I just felt like there was just not enough in this movie, if you ask me. It felt like some of the ideas, like they explained some of the things. I'll just put it this way. I've heard so many people say, oh, the first half is too slow, the second half takes off. I wouldn't say that. I would say the first 2/3 I thought were good. That last act is when it goes off the rails, plus some political allegories which ticked me off. You know what I'm talking about? You know, with the scrolls, those allegories.
Yeah, it's just like, it kind of feel like that part just kind of like, okay, I guess that's
Did you need to
kind
put
of
that in
a
here?
thing.
Even though this is set in the 90s, you had to put that in there? But the biggest issue of all was Carol throughout all of this. It just felt like, I do agree that Brie Larson's acting was good, but it just felt like so much of the stuff was going her way that it wasn't Ghostbusters level bad of incompetent men. It was not that bad. But it felt like she had so much stuff going for her, especially at the very end when, spoiler warning, actually no, this is going to be a spoiler-free review.
Yeah.
She gets her powers unlocked. And right near the end, turns out she's been dampening and a power dampener on her. And all of a sudden, once she gets unlocked, boom, she just starts kicking ass, knows how to do everything, and then she just starts, it's a curb stomp. It is such an utter curb stomp. And, Ingrid, what do you have to say about that with that climax?
I feel like there are a lot of ways that could have been, even if they left it as is, that could have been justified. Like, hey, she showed her sort of working more on the thing that gave her powers in the first place, so that it's like, okay, she knows the inner workings of this thing and thus would have been able to pull that off. Or she understood how some of the enemy technology worked, so she could exploit a weak point, but there was nothing like that justified that happening.
Or the Kree had powers like she had, and that the Tesseract or whatever gave her similar powers to what a Kree had, and that they would have shown it. Instead, it had to be, oh, nope, you're unique. You can do all these blasts. And, we're going to shut you down. Shane, do you agree with that about the climax?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like pretty quick. Not too much of a build-up.
Right. And once it got unlocked, it was just like, all done, over and done with. Now, you have not seen Alita, Battle Angel, right? You have not seen that?
No.
Well, you all folks know that Ingrid and I did see it, and Alita was the better movie.
Mm-hmm.
By at least as far as overall, it was the better movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like Alita explained more. You had a much more interesting character that also had great interactions. But the way the climax went, for Alita, she earned it. Carol Not really, not at all. Now, she said a way to fix it was her option. I saw of another option as well, where they have it be that the little power dampener kept short. If they had it short out, and she would have bursts of her true power. That would have been fine because you're building up to it. You're like, okay, any moment now. But no, they'd have it be.
And then you could have scenes where it's like she's desperately hoping, please short out now, please short out now, please short out now. And she's kind of buying time while things are going to the crapper.
Exactly.
That
But
would be interesting.
yeah, it would be. But instead, just nope. They OP her no end. And yes, the thing was Fury. The thing was Nick Fury in his eye. Just as stupid as everyone keeps saying it is.
Yeah, like the solution that I thought of that can make it work better. What if she's trying to get hold of her newfound burst of power that she has, and something goes wrong, kind of like D&D Wild Magic, it ends up going off the rails and end up hitting Fury's eye.
Which would give more credence to the whole, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. In this case, like, oh, I trust this cat. That makes that scene from Winter Soldier look ridiculous and hilarious. It's like, he's telling Cap this serious moment, like, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And now people are trying to say, oh, he's adding to his mythos. That still makes that whole scene look horrible now because it makes it look like hilarious. Like, oh yeah, he trusted a cat and got his eye scratched. Oh. But I would definitely say this, though, it's not the worst.
Yeah, I would definitely say it. It's like, there have definitely been more horrible stuff out there, and it's
even for the
not
Marvel
like
Cinematic.
Yeah, and I just can't bring myself to, it's like, yeah, it had its flaws, but it's like, it's more...
It wasn't boring. It wasn't that boring.
Yeah, there were definitely times where I was, like, legitimately entertained, and even one point where I was, like, legitimately tearing up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like...
Oh, and Monica stole the show in every scene she was in. Monica stole the show. Little Monica.
Yes, that little girl is just like, oh.
Whatever adult actor they get to play her when she's grown up has their work cut out for them, comparing to a kid.
Yeah.
Shane, what did you think about Monica?
Yeah.
The little girl.
Yeah, I really liked her. She was definitely one of the best characters.
Oh, yeah.
And that's coming from someone with 5 nephews and 3 nieces.
But yeah, now, I would say this. In my ranking, it goes like this. You either have the really high quality movies, like most of the Captain America movies, or most of the Avengers movies. Then you have the mid-tier that's more like the your Doctor Strange or your Ant-Man, the ones that are still good but feel a bit more by the numbers. Then you have Thor Dark World at the bottom. I'm sorry, that is my least favorite.
And I would second that as somebody who has Thor as her favorite Avenger.
Yeah, but Thor Dark World is still the worst. I would put Captain Marvel right at the lower echelon of that mid-tier. It's above Thor Dark World, maybe above some of in the first Ant-Man movie, maybe. But it's definitely beneath Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And yeah, I mean, Guardians also very good. Everything about Guardians felt good. Everything about all the other movies feel good. But this just felt like everyone said, feels like a Phase 1 Marvel movie, where you can exclude its flaws back then because they were just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, but it's like at this point they've had like several years to perfect it, so it's like...
Yeah, this felt like I will also say it does feel that now with everything leading up to it, so the marketing, it feels like they were overcompensating. Like they knew they had a generic, because what it does, it feels a bit on the generic side overall.
Yeah,
right?
there are some times where it's just like, this is just kind of a generic action scene. There's no punch to it. It's like I've seen other scenes in other Marvel movies with much more build-up. Like it's like the climactic scene in Thor Ragnarok. That one was
and that felt earned because all this time he thought that the hammer was his power when it was like, no, his power is within him. It was a mental block this whole time.
And then the music choice was really great, whereas here it's just like...
I'm just a girl. What the hell?
It's like, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy, but this was not trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and that just felt totally out of place.
And even then, that would have been like a music suite. It would have been like a little bit of I'm Just a Girl, then would have gone to another song, but nope, it's the whole song throughout all this, and it felt so like, to the point where I've seen critics, reviewing this, who are saying, women critics who are saying, really? You went with that song? They felt like they all agreed that was like a horrible choice, but does this deserve the ranking it's getting on Rotten Tomatoes and all that? Does it deserve that, or do you think they're going a bit too far because of the marketing?
I would definitely say that they went a little bit too far because of, I mean, it wasn't the
Brie
best
Larson.
movie ever, but at the same time, it wasn't the best movie ever, but at the same time, it wasn't the worst. There were genuinely good things to like about it in there, and I feel like some people have just kind of gotten a little bit oversensitive about certain things, like, honestly.
Yeah, now, Brie Larson did not help the matter, so let's be honest, though. She did not help at all with the stuff she would say leading up to this, and then claiming, oh, she's more powerful than Thor and all that. I'm like, okay, seeing this, I can understand why she said that, but it felt like not really earned again. It felt like Thor is a god, and yet she's more powerful than a god.
Yeah, it's like, it's sort of a, okay, this is an explanation, but it's like,
I know, it's hard to give it all. And my biggest gripe still is, it's the Tesseract. Now, we've seen it unlocked the speed in Quicksilver, which is a known thing for the Space Gem, and the reality bending kind of goes along with Wanda, because it was Wanda kind of goes along with the Space Gem, because, you can use it to teleport. How did it make Carol so overpowered in this? And it wasn't even the full-on Tesseract. It was an engine based off the Tesseract. So shouldn't that be more inferior to the Tesseract?
Oh, and then with the and that engine, seemed like how come only she was affected?
Because she was close enough. To be fair, that one was explained. The bad guy, Judd Law's character, was close and was a bit far off. So he was knocked back just by the shockwave. She was right there at point of impact.
Right.
that part at least was explained.
Yeah, but everything else, it just felt like, and then I gotta give one other complaint. The way Carol was with her, her amnesia and all that, especially the point when she's struggling to remember, it just felt like, well, look at me, it's like, she just felt so blank. Even when she meets up with Monica and all that, it still felt a little like, oh yeah, when they're laughing, that's one thing, but it just felt like, I'm sorry, I'm not who you think I am. It's just like, she's not even trying to remember in that moment. It feels like, normally you would think a person like who'd be standing there like a, like that. She's, yeah, like kind of like what you were doing, like, I'm trying to remember. But instead she's just like, Spock, stoic, like, huh? But one big last thing is, the big complaint everyone has about the feminist agenda and all that stuff, it's not really here. People, I think, are nitpicking. There are some moments that could be subtle, like shooting that True Lies standee when she was in the Blockbuster. She took out Arnold's head, but completely left Jamie Lee Curtis's head completely intact.
It's like,
That got a little on the subtle, but still on the nose. But other moments, I think the trailers made them seem more there than they were. Like,
because most of the time it was more just like an occasional thing.
Although her flashbacks, those were like the most heavy-handed.
But then again, it's like, those weren't most of the movie.
But though, it was in the 80s, and by that point, that was the 80s, or maybe in the 70s when she was growing up. You gotta be honest, that was fighting an uphill battle back then. I think people keep forgetting. It's set during the 90s, but she was growing up in the 70s and 80s.
So it's like they sort of have a legitimate reason to put in that kind of
now
stuff.
They make it over the top, yes.
But there's a legitimate justification. It's just the problem is the exaggeration, not because of the time period.
Exactly, it's more the exaggeration, and I think people forget about the time period because of the setting. Like we're in present day and we're dealing with all this political stuff. And again, you have the director and Brie making it like, oh, it's a feminist movie. No, it's not. It's not really a feminist movie. So,
honestly, it ended up being incidental in the end.
I mean, Shane, you probably didn't even notice any of that at all, right? And you don't go looking for that stuff, so.
Right. I'm more of someone who just really looks at a movie like by itself, not based on what others
have said.
Well, in general, products too. But.
And did you feel at all anything besides the flashbacks that felt like a feminist movie, or did it feel like a Marvel movie?
I'd say Marvel movie. I didn't really feminism, but I'm
you weren't
not
looking
too
for
familiar.
it. Yeah. So again, I would give this a 5 out of 10 is what I would give it.
6 out of 10 here.
And Shane, what would you give it?
6, 7.
6, 7. So 5, 6, and 7. All right. So, hey Shane, come in closer because I'm gonna do a sign off. So this is StarCraft with Shane and Ingrid. And I'll be having the stream tonight. Ingrid will be there. Yep. So catch you all later. Take care.